He categorically refused to accept the new government. Donbass, absolutely focused on Russia. That was before the war. That was at the time, and it's understandable now. The latest event in Ukraine does not allow us to. Residents of the southeast should stay away. The people did not want a rapprochement with Europe, unlike Western Ukraine, which just did not want a rapprochement with Russia. As the head of an American news company, I am a citizen of another country. But there will be no Russian foot here, pouting face. Crimea and eastern Ukraine, refusing to recognize this very authority, preparing for armed resistance. Along with this, they are going to hold a referendum about self-independence in the southeastern part of Ukraine. In the form of the radicalization of the Maidan and the seizure of the administration, they began to prepare for a possible confrontation. In Donetsk, Odessa and Sevastopol began to appear folk squads. The conflict is gradually escalating into a civil war. We are Crimeans, and first of all the deputies. We must raise the issue of the return of Crimea to Russia. In fact, these people could be killed, knowing that you won't get anything for it. Thus, the protests in some cities were suppressed, but not in Donetsk and Lugansk, who proclaimed their own independent people's republics, DPR and LPR, creation of a sovereign state. Donetsk People's Republic. Lugansk People's Republic. Maidana Turchinov, who has now become acting president of Ukraine, announces the beginning of the anti-terrorist operation, sending troops to the southeast in order to suppress mass unrest there. The National Security and Defense Council has made a decision, launch a large-scale anti-terrorist operation. With the involvement of the armed forces of Ukraine, we will not allow Russia to repeat the Crimean scenario in the eastern region of Ukraine. Troops are beginning to pull in their tanks, artillery, which is opposed by local residents. They become on the path of the advancing. This is how the civil war in Ukraine began. Civil war, which is after 8 years of continuous fighting. It turned into a full-fledged armed conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Was there a war there? Come on, talking. It was the separatists who were killed. Well, wow. Will you excuse me? Approximately 7 million people live here. Is that 7 million bad people? But I can tell you, no, we are just the same people as everyone else. Why are we being killed? Well, it's clear for what? At 2014 years, how would they have made it clear to us when? That there will be a war. She's needed. She's needed. We will advance and liberate our land. And extending the NON ceasefire regime is our response to the terrorists, marauding militants. The right sector, patriots of Ukraine, freedom, raised for decades on hatred of everything Russian. The truth as it turned out, the whole Ukrainian television of that time boiled down to that people under fire are zombie vegetables, who don't understand that they are being shot at is not the Ukrainian army. The Russian military is shooting pouting face at them. Because it's all the front, around Donetsk. Very strong fortified areas of the enemy. That is, they are prepared for 8 years. Everything is dug in, I'm sorry, that's how they did it. Well, not something. During these 8 years here, there was an active positional war going on. Just a civil war going on here. Why has the entire world community turned a blind eye to this for all these 8 years, and it said that everything is fine here? I needed these Minsk agreements to get at least 4.5 years to form the Ukrainian armed forces, rebuild the Ukrainian economy, and train the Ukrainian military together with NATO to create the best armed forces in Eastern Europe. Death to the Muscovites. They were preparing and fighting the Muscovites. We fought the Germans. They fought against Jews and other evil spirits who wanted to take our Ukrainian state away from us. The events that are called the revolution today, in fact, they are leading to a civil war. It inevitably leads to bloodshed and violence, looting and chaos. We don't want them to come to our land.